All right, we're back with the Fox News Alert. The Taliban storming the Afghan capital after its president, Ghani, fled the country like a coward. U.S. officials now say they're working to secure Kabul airport, where at least 5 were reportedly killed as Americans and Afghans scrambled to escape the fallout from the disastrous withdrawal plan. That actually contains people allied with France and England, all of our allies. Our next guest knows exactly what's at stake after serving in the region. We're joined now by retired Marine technician, Fox News contributor Joey Jones, retired Navy SEAL Derek Van Orden, who's also running for Congress again over in his state of Wisconsin, and Sabor Sakazada, an interpreter who worked in Afghanistan with our own Pete Hegseth and with many other Americans. Sabor, first let's start with you. Your thoughts at this hour. Did you think this would happen as quickly as it did and like it did?
Thanks for having me on the show, and good morning to all of you. No, I didn't, and it just took all of us by surprise, just as it did the White House. White House did not play this the way they did not plan it as it turned out to be. The military collapsed in a matter of days. 300 plus thousand soldiers. The government, the capitals collapsed. And this just means that there's right now a chaos in the country without rule of law, without any accountability. Over 20 years of hard work of American soldiers, Afghans, and international community that was put together, and it just all vanished in a matter of just 24 hours.
Unbelievable. And Derek, to you, as a Navy SEAL, you're ready for all contingency plans. They were not ready for this. We had to put 5,000 to theater, added another 1,000 yesterday just to get our people out to the airport. Now we got to get tens of thousands out with one airstrip. This is worse than Saigon 1975.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did 2 tours in Afghanistan in 2003 and 2009. And unfortunately, the Biden administration is redefining the word incompetence. You've got Secretary Blinken and Secretary Austin. They need to tender their resignations right now. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Miley, he needs to go peel potatoes in the galley for about a month and then resign also. These folks' primary duty is to advise the President of the United States in diplomatic and military matters, and they've abjectly failed that. The national security architecture of the United States of America is clearly broken right now. And this is playing out in real time. So people can't pretend like this isn't happening. We truly understand now that the emperor has no clothes. As a matter of fact, we don't even know if he's wearing clothes right now because he has disappeared from the public. The President of the United States, in clearly the most dramatic foreign policy crisis in the United States in a very, very long time, probably since September 11th, 2001, has disappeared. Jen Psaki's taken the week off, too.
Joey Jones.
This is unacceptable. Sorry.
You got it. Joey Jones. They've emptied the prisons full of al-Qaeda and ISIS and Taliban guys. They have left our bases naked, so they've taken all of our stuff and equipment. So now they go into the Capitol, and I don't know what we were able to do in 48 hours to destroy all intelligence for 4,000 people as we left our bases and ran to an open airport. How much damage is done? And what do you think, if you're a member of the Afghan forces or just an Afghan citizen, the Americans could have stopped the Taliban at any point, even outside Kabul, and we didn't.
I don't know what they think. I don't know what the people in Afghanistan feel right now. Obviously, my heart goes out to them. But even, for my personal concern right now today, we had one promise here, and that was to make sure that al-Qaeda and the Taliban didn't have an opportunity to train and attack us again. And I just don't know how President Biden feels that that's exactly where we are today. That's not where we are today. I'm not saying that we should have fought a 20-year war for another 20 years. I also hate when people talk about having 3,000 troops in Afghanistan the same way we would talk about having 100,000 troops in Afghanistan. One is legitimately fighting a war, and the other one is an operation to gather intelligence and ensure the Taliban doesn't take over the country. So I just wish we got more from our politicians on these issues. The fact that we allow politicians to gain popularity and votes by saying they're going to end a war that hasn't really been fought in a few years to begin with, that's part of the problem there. As far as President Biden, this guy was vice president for 8 years. During the years that I went there and lost my legs, during the deadliest years of this war. And you're telling me he didn't understand the Afghan security force situation any better than to pontificate about 300,000 troops while reports are coming out every day that it was much, much less than that, and that number was only on paper? how was he this misinformed, or did he know and just was arrogant enough, as Bob Gates would say, to be wrong again on a foreign policy decision?
Zabor, it's estimated that 70,000 Afghans lost their lives fighting against the Taliban with the Americans, many times in front. Do you think about them right now?
Oh yeah, no. Among some of those people that are out hiding is my own brother and my own sister. For the past 48 hours, we've been living in a state of despair. My brother has gone into hiding. He's burning every evidence he's got, including English books, proof of his service with armed forces, U.S. armed forces in Afghanistan. So he's out hiding without any hope or any possibility of not knowing what will happen in the future. But listen, this is not an enemy that we don't know. Clearly the situation, the circumstances in Afghanistan are only three options. You either end up with a settlement in the country where the leaders come together. You end up with the civil war, which is a chaos that no one expects it to happen. Or you end up with 100% Taliban control of the government or the country. And that is all of the options. If it does not go well, then you end up back where we were, just that entire 20 years that we've been working in Afghanistan is just a nightmare or just a dream for a lot of the Afghans who've put their sweat and tears to build a nation, a government, and here we are. It all vanished in a matter of 24 hours.
And we give them hope.
That is not.
You're right. And we never said that we're going to build a democracy there. We're just going to tell you about hope and liberty and maybe make your own. But without our presence, it wouldn't have happened. Derek, do you think about people that lost their lives or changed their lives forever? I mean, we've lost over 2,000, but over 20,000 been wounded.
Yeah, the first service member killed in Afghanistan, his name was Neil Roberts. And when I graduated from Navy SEAL training, we have our arms over each other's shoulders. This is very personal to me. I've actually held one of my friend's hands as he was dying in a tent in Bagram, listening over a satellite phone as his wife cried because she knew she was never going to see her husband alive again. So this is real. But I want to talk just briefly to every single person that served in Afghanistan, and I want you to know that your service was not, it wasn't wasted, because we've seen some of the greatest aspects of the human condition, of bravery, honor, courage. We've seen selfless sacrifice for people. So if you went to Afghanistan and you served, I want you to hold your head up high. Don't worry about what these politicians did. I'm going to go to D.C. and I'm going to fix that in Congress. But you guys take pride in your service because you've earned it. So thank you very much for everybody that went to Afghanistan, and I wish you just the best.
Joe,
this too will pass.
I hear you, Derek. Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I can say on that. I served in Afghanistan, and I'm proud of it. The result of my service, hopefully, is more U.S. Marines came home alive, and that was enough for me.
Yep. And we'll see how this plays out. Now we need to get 30,000, 40,000, maybe 80,000 people out, and we're going to be putting them into military bases where they're going to be joining, in some cases, illegal aliens who are housing because he left the border wide open, too. Guys, we're going to call on you again because this is unfolding. This is live action, and we don't know how it ends. Joey Jones, thanks so much. Derek Van Orden, best of luck in your quest to get into Congress. Missed by a point last time. And Sabor Sakazada, thanks so much for speaking so clearly and all the things you did for the men and women in uniform.